Hello and welcome back to the Half Thumb Homestead. I'm here to fix my Midea. So I installed this Midea in my Deer Lease van and I absolutely love it. It is the cat's meow when it comes to air conditioners. It's quiet. It runs, put out a 300-foot extension cord on it and it still starts up and runs as an 8,000 BTU. It's an inverter type. The issue I'm having is the water won't drain outside because I put it too far forward when I installed it. So the gap here, so this whole bracket, the window on these U-shape comes down to here and the water's supposed to go out the back side. Well, it's dripping down the inside, running down the wall here, and it's going to create mold. Speaking of mold, Midea actually issued a recall on these for the technician to come out and install a different type of drain valve on it. So I'm going to modify mine so it drains correctly. I'm also going to take it so this part of the air conditioner is back here on the other side of the window. So all this stuff is going to come out. It's going to go back probably to about here. And then I'll make, like it has right here, this bracketry it'll come down like so, probably down to here. I'll put a metal bar across here to hold it, just to support it. This thing is really pretty heavy. It's about 52 pounds. But like I said, man, at 97, 98 degrees outside with 80% humidity, it was 62 inside this van. And that was after all day soaking in the sun. It took about 40 minutes for it to get to that. Get rid of the heat soak. Fantastic. So I'm going to start by taking off my metal cover here and removing this bottom piece of wood that all I did was glue it on. And then I can cut the wood around it because it's going to have to go back. So I'm going to cut out about 1 inch all the way around, if it has the room to slide it backwards. So I've got the bottom piece off, and what I didn't notice when I installed it was that's where the drain is. So the water was literally going right inside the window here, inside the van. And the wood was soaked. This is the piece of wood I just took out here. See how soaked it is. And yes, I cut to fit that thing so it would fit in there perfectly. So when we do a new one, we'll make a new piece to fit in there nice and good. Just a piece of 1/2-inch plywood going all the way around to close out the window. So now we're going to take off the shroud here. I'm going to take off the 2 side pieces. I'm going to leave the top on for now because it's supposed to rain. That way, if it does rain, I can tape off the opening. I didn't show all the cutting and removing of this. Boring. All right, so let's get this sucker out of there. Doing this kind of work is not how I lost my thumb. Someday, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll tell you how I lost my thumb. I'll give you a hint in some videos every now and then. Most of the hints are I didn't do it this way. Just keep an ear out. I was working on my house. That's the hint I'm going to give you. When I cut my thumb off, I was working on my house. shroud, steel bracket, some aluminum channel. You get all this stuff at Home Depot. This is all scrap from where I work. I just built it up, bent it out, put it on. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around the Midea all the way. I'm not going to cut this side over here too much, just enough to get the kind of Midea out of the way, because I'm pretty sure that when I reinstall it, it's going to shift inboard towards the inside of the van, probably about 1.5 inches. So it's out. Had a hard time because I cut this crooked. If I'd have gone straight, probably would have come right out. So this bracket's going to stay on, but this is going to mount here and here. And then I'll angle it probably at least 5 degrees. Because when I was in here putting everything in, I know it doesn't look straight right now, or it's got a heck of an angle. But with the weight of the machine on it, when it's closed, it was up here. So I might be able to continue to use this bracket. I just have to walk it all the way out. So try that. We also have to remove this wood from in here. I'll make a new piece to go inside there and to fill the bottom. And hopefully we can get that all done today. I'll build out this with some wood. I have some pieces of aluminum I bent up with scrap to attach everything to, and then we'll seal it all, paint it, and that should be good to go. I'm going to straight cut this piece of wood right here the best I can. So I may be able to use this bracket. I'm going to add 1 piece or 2 pieces to go from the end here down and brace below, just because if you watch, if I put weight on this, see how that flexes away from the license plate holder? I just don't think that's going to be strong enough to hold that 50 pounds when it's moving along bouncing. I did mount to the inside of the window frame, and it's beautifully level right here. And of course, this has a good drop right now to it. So all I did was screwed it there and there, and then I added 1 screw inside each one of these to keep them from wiggling around. Next is I also cut this straighter. It's not beautifully straight, but it'll work. I still need to take this off, and then I'll set the air conditioner back into position and see how it looks. All right, I've got the wood piece off and it's all cleaned up in here. I've moved the table closer to the van because it is heavy. I'm gonna now put the window unit inside the van just to see how it sits and see if I like it. Like I said, I was concerned about how much weight is being put on this piece here. It's quite a bit, so I will add a bracket down here somewhere and then connect it up here. Say a bracket, big piece of steel. It is back a bit farther than I wanted, but what I'll do is I'll bring this out up here and then seal it. And this is already sealed from the inside, so I'm not worried about adding anything right here. It might be a bit steep on the drip angle, so I'll raise it up to the 3. Right now it's on the 4, so I'm going to try that while it's sitting in there. I do like that a little bit better. Now these aren't made for this, so I have a bracket I'll attach back here to attach to this to hold it on both sides. Once I get some wood put in over here. So this is the install. Let's check the, say 3 to 5 degrees. I think I went from 5, maybe a little more. I don't have a degree thingy, but that tells you it's not level and it's angling backwards. So next thing to do is to build out the 2 brackets coming down here. I'll show you that when I get it done. All right, so back to the install. I reinforced inside the door, and you can see the water leaks. The water comes out of this hole right here. So we're way aft. It also comes out this hole, so we're way aft of where I need to be. I could try and slide it forward 4 inches maybe, but I can't, because this is where I braced it on the door. That's where it's bolted in on the front piece. So the back obviously supports the weight. The front just kind of adds to it. Now I have to build around. I'm going to build a piece, some wood to come out and go down just on this back side right here. Straight down all the way to under here. And then I'll make a piece to go inside here. Like I said, inside the door, I've got 2x4s in here. I squeezed one inside this side over here. It was real difficult. And I was able to put one over here. And that kind of gives rigidity to the door. It doesn't flex on the outside. If you recall in the video, I would push down on the Midea and that would flex. I'm doing it right now. It is not flexing at all. So I'm very satisfied. All right, I've got it completely boxed in. Tomorrow I'll film me taking it apart and then putting it back together with sealant and paint. And then I'll have the cover taken off, and then we'll put the cover back on. I do need to trim this down a little bit to make it so it's straight. It's got a good slope on it. I did drill 2 holes, one here and one over here to drain the water. All right, so here we are. Final install. Well, I say that. Probably have to take it out some other time, do it all over again. I fastened the brace in the front here to the window frame. That's for the actual support for the Midea itself. Comes out the bottom down here, pins here with these clips, and then I bolted it to the van. Now inside the van here, there's 2x4s to provide support to keep the skin from flexing, because it would flex right here. See one of them there, and the other one's back there. That one was hard to get in. You need something to kind of pull this away, pull this out to get the 2x4 in there, or you can trim it down a little bit. I decided not to. Do the best I could to get it in there. And then I fastened 2 screws right here to keep these from rattling. You know, when you're in this thing, you're typically sleeping. when you're hunting, so that's how that is. Now this top piece here, metal, I'll have to remake. As you can see right now, it literally dumps right inside here, or right to the edge of it, and I'm concerned that it'll fill this up with water. I have added one hole there and one on the other side, and then I will put more holes if needed. Generally the water comes out here, and I think if any condensation up front will come out here as well. Now it's got a pretty good downslope there, probably, I don't know, 5 degrees. I think when you put it in your window in your house, there's 3 to 5. This thing weighs 50 pounds, so you got to be careful. It is heavy. My only concern is when I'm driving it is if this is going to hold or not. I'll find out. I may make a brace to go from here to the box I have in the back, just for driving purposes, kind of like a transom motor holder, so you don't damage the transom. So we're going to take this apart now and reinstall it with sealant to make sure it doesn't leak and keep the exhaust gases out. I'm going to start by taking the bottom plate off first. This is the one I made first, or last. This piece here, I decided to enclose it this way rather than try and cut a piece of wood to fit the contour and fit up against the front. Look a little bit nicer, and it'll be covered from the weather anyways because of the side pieces on my cover. It's just a piece of wood in there to take up that space, and I'll just put a bead of sealant on here towards the bottom to make it airtight. Go all the way around the edges, of course. So let me show you what I'm using. I'm using this fast cure adhesive here. This is marine sealant. This stuff is pretty awesome. Works really good. Pop the cap, in your gun, poke a hole in the front, put on your tip. I usually take the tip. Poke a hole in it, have one that's cut. Thread it on there. Now when I originally took this apart, this piece broke here, so I cut it off and made a bracket to go over the top. So I'm going to take this off real quick, and I'm going to seal this edge and around here just to make sure that's good. I'm not going to put any sealant up against here because the box will be sealed itself. So I'm up to the final stage of sealing now. My GoPro went dead, so I don't know how much of that I got. But it's not pretty. It's functional. Just goop all the corners, all the edges, everything. All the way around. I'm working on down here, filling that gap right there. I will fill up on the bottom down here. I'll probably leave a gap right here just in case it leaks. That way it won't sit there and mold. Now there's sealant behind the wall here, pressing up against the back of the Midea. Top's all sealed. Once I get it done sealing, we'll let it sit for an hour, and then we'll come out and we'll paint it black. Alright, we're back. The AC is all installed, plugged in and working. Right now I have a 25-foot extension cord plugging into this 8,000 BTU inverter unit. Awesome. I love it. Recap, I pulled out the air conditioner because it was sitting out about this far. It's leaking water internally. Moved it aft. Originally I was going to make a frame over there on the floor. I did not have to do that. It's able to brace the unit up front in the door frame. Sticks out quite a bit. Then I reinforced it internally with 2x4s so you don't get the flex. I built a box around it and painted it. I am not a painter nor a sealer, but it works. All that's left now is for me to install the shroud once the paint's dry. That'll be a couple hours. And that is my install of my Midea 8,000 BTU window unit into my Deer lease van. So in the end, I wasn't happy with where the support was. It was too far forward. So I added some wood framing inside the door, just like I did up here. A couple 2x4s, bolted them in this way and this way to this piece of metal. And then I bolted on 2 pieces of angle steel. I didn't like all that weight on that one spot, so I've distributed it to 2. Here you can see the wood bracing. There's a couple screws holding it. I think they're 2.5 or 3-inch screws. Quite a bit to get that in there. Had to wedge it in there, move the wiring out of the way, but it'll work. can do it too. Vanlife. Half them out.